Let's make this $1.08 per serving homemade gnocchi dinner for 4 people. But first, let's do some shopping. So I'm going to grab 2 zucchinis. Whoops. And then we need a pound of russet potatoes. Good enough. I'm going to peel them, so that works out. And then a can of diced tomatoes. I went with green peppers and onions just for more flavor. And then I'm grabbing a generic Italian seasoning. If you already have seasoning, that's fine. You'll also need flour. So I didn't grab that because we already bought some last trip. A small container of Greek yogurt and some eggs. The only thing I didn't buy was flour, but this brings us to $8.56. Again, you may already have something, so you can go ahead and just trade it out. So we're going to cook our potatoes. I peeled them and just threw them in the air fryer, but you can boil them or bake them as long as they're cooked. And then I put mine through a ricer, but if you don't have a ricer, you can always mash them. Check out the steam. Once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and do a cup of flour. You can do this on the counter, but I like to keep mess at a minimal, so I'm doing it in a bowl. We're going to create a well here, and then we're going to add 1 egg along with our potatoes. And then we're going to go ahead and create a dough. So get in there with your hands. It's really messy. There's just, sometimes we have to accept the mess. It's just a part of life. We can always wash our hands, right? So we're going to go ahead and just keep mixing it. You want to get all the flour saturated. That's kind of the most important part. And then once you're done, you'll have a really nice dough. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that dough on a floured surface and we're going to divvy it up into 4 sections. And then taking each section, we're going to kind of create a rope of dough. And honestly, this doesn't even have to be perfect. I kind of ended up messing mine up and it still tastes good. So whatever. And we want to create these little pillows of gnocchi. And this is not a pasta making class. I'm not here to say this is correct or great or amazing, but it'll feed your kids. So that's kind of what my focus is on. And then we're going to use our fork to kind of give the gnocchi a little squeeze. And then we're going to sprinkle it with flour, kind of toss them a bit to help prevent them from sticking to each other as they rest. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same with the rest of the dough. So again, we're going to do a rope and then we're going to do our little pillows and we're going to do that for the next other sections. And then of course do our little fork squeeze. All right, so once you've done all of that, you're going to let your gnocchi rest for 20 minutes. And while that rests, you can go ahead and do everything else. So we're going to go ahead and cut up our zucchini. We're just going to roast it. Pretty easy. Now, if you have oil, you can go ahead and drizzle some oil on your zucchini. We're going to preheat the oven to 375. If you do not have oil, honestly, water is fine. I just kind of sprinkle a little water on top, some salt and pepper, and we're going to go ahead and throw it in the oven at 375 for 20 minutes. Then we're going to work on our sauce. So we're going to do our can of diced tomatoes, and then we're going to add a teaspoon of our Italian seasoning. Now, if you have it, you don't need it. If you have it, add some red pepper flakes and some garlic powder as well. Or if you happen to have a clove of garlic, feel free to add that, but it's not necessary. To taste, you know what I mean? Okay, throw that in. Let the sauce simmer as the gnocchi sits and rests. And once it's kind of thickened up, you can go ahead and let it cool down a little bit. before adding half the container of Greek yogurt. So we're adding Greek yogurt to make up for the fact that this is a meatless meal. Greek yogurt adds protein, and it also makes it a creamier dish. So go ahead and mix that up. If your sauce is too hot, the yogurt will break. Mine kind of broke. It's not a big deal. Most people won't even notice. It doesn't affect the taste at all. It's just like an aesthetic thing. So I'm going to go ahead and let my sauce kind of cool here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to bring a pot of water to a rapid boil, and we're going to throw our gnocchi in, okay? Once it floats, it is done, all right? And then once it's floating, toss it into the sauce. Just like that. So we're going to let our gnocchi finish cooking. We're going to toss it right in. It cooks really quickly. We're going to add some of our pasta water to just kind of help bring everything together, bring all those starches together, all those flavors. And here we have our homemade gnocchi and our roasted zucchini. So we're going to go ahead and plate this up. I'm going to be honest, I put a little too much on this plate. I got kind of carried away. Gnocchi is pretty filling. That's too much. Gnocchi is pretty filling. And we're going to go ahead and add our zucchini. This is also a really nice kind of kitchen sink meal. If you can make a gnocchi, you can make a sauce out of anything. Leftover vegetables, cans of whatever is in the cupboard. So this is a really great meal if you need to use up some ingredients in your cupboard. So here's our total cost. I kind of had a guess at seasoning. I just threw in a dime for that. But I only calculated what we used, but I also wanted to show the full bill as well. I made 2 plates and put the rest in Tupperware for lunches. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you give it a shot, and there we go.